Genshin Impact has some of the most dense lores I have experienced in a game. The amount of effort that goes into the world building, how information is fed to you and so on, is magnificent, but there is a problem. With how complex everything is, it has a very complicated lore system that is sometimes organized, sometimes not. It really depends on what you're looking for and where you're looking. So if you try to focus on Genshin's lore as a whole, you will be overwhelmed by it all. Here are my personal tips on getting into Genshin lore as someone who just recently got into it and found it very messy to get into. Let's get started. Watch YouTube videos. You're watching one right now. There are a multitude of Genshin accounts on YouTube on a multitude of different things. Character discussions, lore, speculations, so on and so forth. There are ones like mine for character discussions and game discussions, some that make summaries of different topics and lore speculations. I won't say all of them are reliable as there's a spread of misinformation going on in this community, but the ones I personally enjoy watching and found useful are as follows. Silken 1-4, Ashikai, Poison Vision, Chillwood Aster, Roosevelt, and Minsleaf. All these people discuss different things. Some discord character analysis, some do lore speculations, some do weapon discussions. So it really depends what you want. Choose your pick. I'm sure there are many more, but those are my own recommendations, and if you have some, leave them in the comments below. I really recommend watching lore videos as a way to either catch up with content if you want to skip dialogue or you've missed some content, refresh yourself on certain parts of the lore, or just learn something new that you didn't know before. YouTube videos help condense all the information into one area so you don't have to go looking for books in-game just to get the full story of something. There are some that have misinformation in them, as I have said, but to my knowledge, the ones I have listed above are pretty accurate. I would not recommend only listening to one source, however, so make sure to have more than one channel that you're getting your information from. Play the game. This may seem obvious, but let me explain. One of the best ways to experience Genshin's lore is by playing it, as in doing the Archon quest, the story quest of each individual character, and the world quests. Now, Archon quests are a given. Most, if not all people, do the Archon quest, and some story quests are considered prerequisites for certain events, so most people have done them too. But I think a lot of people overlook the world quest and take them as just being blocks of uninteresting dialogue and a waste of time, which isn't necessarily true. A good portion of each region's world building and history is typically hidden in the world quests. The history of Watatsumi Island and Orabashi was hidden in a world quest. The history of the Kitsune Saigu was also hidden in a world quest. The death of the late Hydro Archon was also hidden in a world quest. A good portion of Sumeru's history and intense lore were hidden in world quests. And based on the world quests I have done in Fontaine so far, I can assume that this is the same for Fontaine as well. World quests in Genshin, especially the really long ones, tend to hold a lot of information about the region, so I would recommend doing them, or at least if you don't want to sit through the whole thing, watch a video about it. Other than the quests, the characters themselves are loaded with lore. Their essential materials, their weapons, especially those with specific weapons attached to them. The character stories and the voice lines also have a lot of lore in them and can give you almost like a window into their mind and personality. Genshin hides their lore everywhere you can look, so I would recommend going out of your way to look for them. Explore the game. Now, I don't mean explore the game like going through and opening chests and doing puzzles. No. I mean more like reading item descriptions. Read the pieces of text we're given or that you just sometimes find while exploring. Read the books that you've collected. You'd be surprised how much information is hidden in random places in Genshin. Who knows, you might find something really intriguing. Genshin's lore is pretty scattered, and for some, if you don't go looking, you might not find them. So be curious and put yourself out there. For character discussions, you can explore the game by reading their character stories, which are given by increasing your friendship with them. You don't actually have to own the character, you can just search up character stories for the certain character and there should be some information on it. The character stories can really help you learn more about the character and their life story. Some are things that are not really shown in game as much, some are things you already know and they just go into more detail about them. I would recommend reading through other character voice lines of them to learn more about them and their relationship with that character. Pick a topic. Some topics are more dense than others, like the lore of the Sun Children of Enkanomiya isn't too long, the lore of King Deshret and Rokudavada is quite long, and don't even get me started on the lore of Aranaras and like the complexities of Conry's lore and the intricacies of Fatui lore. I could go on and on and on and on. So depending on the topic you choose, it will either be very long or short, straightforward or complicated, organized or scattered. They are all fun to go through regardless, and I think having a specific topic you're interested in will help narrow down your focus. Pick a region. Decide on a region that interests you the most. For me, that is Liyue, Sumeru, and Fontaine. If you'd like to go through all the regions, then start with Mondstadt. Its lore is incomplete, so you do have less content to go through at the moment, which can be a plus in this case. If we were talking about lore density, I think Sumeru would have the most dense so far, but that could just be because the regions get more and more dense as we go on. I expect Fontaine to be as dense or even denser than Sumeru in the future, so if you would like to, in other words, 100% Genshin's lore, then you might want to start with Mondstadt, though certain lores are inter-regional, like the Cataclysm and the Archon War. Those happen to multiple regions, not just one, but for the most part, most lores are specific to one region. Join a discussion, Discord, or Reddit. I know both apps have a not so positive reputation with cyberbullying and all that, but they're really helpful in finding people to discuss and in turn learn more from. And it's so much more fun to talk to others about your thoughts and characters and speculations on the lore rather than just reading it alone. At least for me it is. So I recommend having a community of people who are interested in the same thing as well as you, so you can all bond over it. Just remember to stay safe on the internet and play nice with others. Resources. Considering how messy Genshin is when it comes to finding information in-game, there are many resources that compile information for you so it's easier to access them. My personal favorite is Project Ember. It has all the information you could ever need: character stories, artifact stories, weapon stories, item descriptions, all the books, all the random pieces of text we collected from World Quest. It has everything. It is managed by dedicated fans and has minimal ads, so you don't get bombarded by ads every 2 seconds. The Genshin wiki is also useful, though I prefer Project Ember because of the minimal ads. But if you're looking for like the transcript of like story quest and world quest, then the Genshin wiki is the way to go. Project Ember only has the Archon quest so far. Those are the 2 places I use to gather information when needed, unless I need something very like niche. Also, I almost forgot, Hoya Lab, last I checked, has pretty much the same information as Project Ember, plus some information on NPCs if you're looking for that. I didn't forget it exists, but it is also an archive of things, and it is owned by Hoyoverse themselves, so the information should be correct. If you're looking for fan lore content, then Reddit and Discord is the way to go. Less of Discord, more of Reddit. Lots of discussions go on there, and the only problem is that information in Reddit isn't really regulated by anyone, so be careful of misinformation and try not to get your info from only one source. Other than that, Reddit is great for discussing lore, speculations, and more. I do not have a Discord, but maybe if we become bigger, I will make a Discord for character discussions and lore speculations. But for now, you can just subscribe to my channel. That's it for me. See you whenever.